Hey everyone, it's John Day from Race Day XC, and we are out here at the Cannondale Powder Ridge XC event, and I'm with one of our top runners right now, Nick Lando, and about to go do the Bike Barn track preview video on this beautiful Friday.
Gotta give it a bit more sauce then.
Yeah, me too. Me too. If it's 32, I need about 22 more feet. All right, everyone. I am out here with Nick Lando. He is sitting right now in 4th place in points in the Race Day XC Championship. Not to mention, Nick had a rough go at round 1 with a mechanical, was it, Nick?
Yeah, literally right off the start. And I don't think anyone did anything wrong or anything like that. I think it was just like person behind me, their bike went left, my bike went right, and their front tire like clipped my derailleur cable.
That's right.
And yeah, couldn't shift. Chain wouldn't stay in a gear. But we got rid of the cables after that one, so.
Hey, well, that's a tough way to start the series, especially after a long winter, but I gotta say, you've been really impressing everyone so far after that round, and seems like you rebounded really well. So, a little bit of grass uphill off the start, right before we head into the woods over here. Powder Ridge XC. This place is mostly known for its downhill and enduro races, and a lot of the trails that we're going to be using are used going downhill, and we kind of blended a little bit of everything together into a really cool XC loop. So hope everyone enjoys it. So Nick, you're not too far from here. Is this kind of a typical dirt for the area, this hard pack shale type clay?
Yeah, I mean, like you get kind of like a mixed bag of dirt and rock types pretty much anywhere you're at. It's pretty biodiverse, but okay. In the valley, it's usually a little more clay. As you get closer to the ridge, the dirt starts to get a little more bony, a little bit more shaly. The rocks start to sharpen up a little bit.
Yeah, I see that. There's definitely a fair share of sharp rock here at this track. As I was telling Nick a little bit earlier, a lot of the trails that we're using are flow trails, and a lot of that rock is covered. But there are a few natural sections that you can see a lot of that rock popping out, and yeah, it's definitely something to take into account when it comes to racing this weekend, because you don't want to ruin your day with a flat tire for sure. So I've been telling everyone, Nick, that this race is kind of, the climbing is sneaky because you are going up or down at all times, but because you're on a lot of flow trail and switchbacks, it might not seem as sustained as, say, like a Pat's Peak that was straight up for 5 minutes here and there. Yep. But it's definitely a climby one, but not right now.
Yeah, it's kind of closer simulated to more of like the new school UCI courses that we're seeing nowadays, where, you know, when I was traveling around racing, like you'd have your old school courses, which were like the Wyndhams, okay, where you had you know, like an 18-minute climb, and then you would descend for 4 or 5 minutes, and that was your lap.
Wow.
Versus, you know, something closer to a Mont St. Anne or like a snowshoe, where, you know, you're going up and down 3-4 times per lap. And, you know, it makes for one, better racing because you're coming down to like the base area where the spectators are more frequently. but two, the climbs are shorter, so it kind of lends itself to more of a anaerobic punchiness. Keeps the speed high, increases the likelihood of someone bonking their brains out, and kind of keeps the, you know, the running order of the race a little less predictable.
Got it. Okay, so that's a good point. You know, you mentioned Mount St. Anne and Snowshoe, Wyndham, a couple famous venues. And I gotta also mention that, you know, those are venues that you've raced. You've had some really incredible results regionally, but also nationally. I've seen you, you know, you got results on the podium at under 23 Nats and collegiate Nats, and some really good international results too. Out of those tracks, a lot of those famous tracks you're talking about, which tracks would you say are your favorite? And you know, what kind of rider, if you had your choice, what kind of terrain are you picking?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would say, like, in terms of, you know, how fun the tracks are, I really enjoy the Canada Cups in Quebec, like Sherbrooke, Mont Tremblant, Bay St. Paul. They're just like, they've got really cool descents. The climbs don't feel that brutal. And it's just an entertaining course to ride. But the ones I typically do the best at are the ones that have kind of a longer, steadier state climb, like a Wyndham or a Missoula, or yeah, kind of like one of the first generation snowshoe courses that went all the way down to the bottom.
All right, we're entering our longest climb of the racetrack. It's a hot one today. We're at about 95 degrees and very humid. It looks like Sunday should be probably about 20 degrees cooler, so this climb might be a little nicer. At Pat's Peak, our last round, that was a hot one for sure. I think, Nick, when you guys were out there, it was probably, what, about 90 degrees by then?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big trouble with Pat's Peak, not just the heat, but the humidity too. Like, we had that rainstorm in the morning, made everything wet, so as it's like evaporating, you'd be out in the sun and the heat for the open sections, then you'd go into the woods and it was just super swampy feeling.
Yeah, as a promoter, I've had some real FOMO watching all of you guys race and battle. That day I didn't really have that much FOMO. I was kind of glad to be on the sides. We used a lot of dunk bottles, a lot of ice socks. You just had to be comfortable being wet. Should have brought my bathing suit. Seriously, seriously. So this trail right here, we're about to hop onto, it traverses back and forth up the entire mountain. And when ESC has their enduro, this is their climbing trail. So pretty good for a climbing trail. It's also really good. This track, I would say out of our 5 rounds, has the least amount of passing. Mostly because it's flow trail and the speeds are pretty high, but also a lot of that flow trail is, you know, more one-lined. So a climb like this, I think, is where a lot of your passing is going to happen. And if not here, there's a good amount of grass track, cyclocross style at the bottom of the base. There'll probably be a lot of passing there as well. So this climb is probably where the magic will happen. And I would say, without timing it, Nick, your class, I would guess they're probably in the 3s from start to finish, maybe low 4s as far as how long the climb lasts.
Yeah, it'll be a ripper for sure.
Yep. Nick, you're also a coach for Charles Coaching?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Awesome. How is that going?
Oh, it's been great.
Very cool.
Couple winters ago, like I'd been coaching on the side for a while, and a couple winters ago I decided I wanted to kind of pursue a career in it. Was kind of asking around, seeing if anyone was looking for, you know, like an assistant coach or an apprentice coach. I could kind of learn my way up, and everyone was, you know, maybe it was just their business model, but they were kind of happy with where they were at. Didn't really want to take on another employee, and I got connected with Ben Wolf, who I just was asking him like how you get involved with it, and he said, well, actually we're hiring right now. So
Right on.
he put me in touch with Aiden, the owner of Charles Coaching, and you know, we kind of clicked right away. Spent last year doing an internship and went full-time in the fall, and I've been loving it ever since.
That's so cool, man. I can't think of a better person to be sharing knowledge and setting a good example. And yeah, especially now, it's like, you know, it means a lot to a lot of these kids, adults, anyone in the sport that's pursuing this this discipline, to also be able to see the person that they're getting their knowledge from or advice from go out and crush it like you're crushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so cool, especially from someone, you know, I've had plenty of coaches myself, but to see the person that they're spending so much time with and learning from go out on the weekends and also be smashing it like you are, it means a lot to a lot of those athletes. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool to see that situation go full circle.
Yeah, and I know like when I first started doing it, even as a racer, like kind of had this misconception that it was, you know, all about the training plan and like what the coach knows about physiology. And one of the biggest things I learned is, sure, like that's important, but it's about the relationship that you build with the athletes. And in forming those bonds and building those relationships, you start to like live vicariously through them.
Right.
And it's just super rewarding to, you know, help an athlete identify their goal and come up with a plan, see it come to fruition. And you know, it's almost like you're going through it yourself to a certain extent.
Right.
Obviously they're putting in a lot of hard work, but you know, it's always super fulfilling when that happens.
Yeah.
I would make an argument like feels more fulfilling than when I was racing myself.
100%, man. Yeah, true mentorship. And I can relate on a lot of levels with putting on races. Sometimes at the end of a race day, when you're getting good feedback and you see how fun people are having, they're making memories that they're not going to forget, you know, that is just as rewarding as going out there and racing myself. And I'd have to imagine that's probably similar to what being a coach is like. All right, we're taking a left up here. That's probably our longest ascent of the race. A very quick section uphill and into the Cannondale corridor. That section is optional for anyone who doesn't want to take it. Gonna have to put in some heavy watts to catch up to Nick. Guy can certainly descend. That is for sure. All right, a little bit of cyclocross style stuff. Here's for the grass track. And we got our feed zone right here as we enter our last climb.
So John,
yes,
having a couple of these events under your belt now, what kind of like feedback have you been getting, and what have you been doing to kind of like progress the events and the courses? Because they've for sure been different with every round.
Well, I would have to say the overwhelming feedback is just like I keep hearing over and over, hey, we've been looking for this for so many years. We're so excited racing is back, and thank you, basically. So that's probably what the overwhelming talk has been, is just people are excited to have a place to go race XC mountain bikes, not just for one event, but a series where they can kind of put their focus into. And a lot of people, you know, myself included, I like riding a lot of different styles of bike racing, but primarily I enjoy XC mountain biking. It's why I got into racing bikes. It's what I like most. And a lot of people that are racing with us, that's what they want to race if they had their pick. And now they have a chance to do so. And that's what's, you know, every time I'm putting on a track and building something, and that's what excites me, is providing a spot for all those girls and guys to go race XC bikes. And as far as the tracks go, you know, just the nature of New England and how diverse all these spots we're going to, that has kind of been, you know, what has created such different racetracks at every venue. You know, you go to a place like this where there's miles and miles of flow trail, whereas last round at Pat's Peak, they hadn't had a bicycle out there for, you know, 6 years.
Yeah.
And it's just such chunky terrain that's what you end up getting. And then, you know, we'll reset all that when we go to Kingdom in 2 weeks, where it's just, you know, a completely different type terrain. So yeah, New England has been separating everything for us by default, I would say. That was our Dirt Church launch.
It's a booter.
Definitely a booter. Really nice, long, drawn out landing, so you can kind of send it as far as you wish.
It's forgiving too. Like, it's a good progression, especially for the younger generation that wants to jump a lot more.
Totally.
It's that, almost that bridging stone between a medium jump and a big jump without needing to worry about hitting the knuckle.
Right. I think you're absolutely right. All right, there's our finish line as we make our way back towards the rotation engineering start to complete one lap of the Cannondale Powder Ridge XC track. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you on race day.